Like me, you may have seen in Liberal Democrat News a couple of weeks ago a column by Baroness Buscombe, the chair of the Press Complaints Commission, who had taken exception to some comments that had been made in a previous column published in Liberal Democrat News. And I think it was really good that Liberal Democrat News responded in that way. Somebody had seen something they had published, wasn't happy with it, wanted a right of reply, was given a clear and prominent and lengthy right of reply. But think about the situation when it's not the chair of the Press Complaints Commission and it's not Liberal Democrat News, but it's an ordinary member of the public and it's a national newspaper. That ordinary member of the public should have just as much right to have a right of reply as the chair of the Press Complaints Commission. And if you think something has been said wrongly about you or your job, it's actually far more important to be able to set the record straight if where those errors have been published is a national newspaper and not, much as I love it, Liberal Democrat News. Rumour has it Liberal Democrat News' circulation is not quite in the same league as that of national newspapers. So what Baroness Buscombe was able to do is something that far more people should be able to do. Yet if you look at, for example, my own experience of raising issues with the press where there are factual errors, either when I used to work for the party or as an active concerned citizen, as it were now, the reaction is hugely varying. Sometimes it is actually surprisingly good. I have to say, much against perhaps what I would have expected, the Evening Standard, in my experience, is really good at responding quickly and being willing to correct stories where they appear to have made factual errors. Many other newspapers, however, completely ignore you. And I think it is absolutely wrong that in too many corners of the British media, the attitude towards people contacting you, pointing out factual errors, is to ignore them completely. And it's no surprise, therefore, that if you look at, for example, the research from Mori that they carry out every year as to which professions are most and least trusted, courtesy of duck houses, politicians have managed to grab that not quite coveted bottom slot for the last few years, but the second least trusted profession in the UK is journalism. That should be a clarion call not just to people from outside the media, to people inside the media, to want to radically alter their approach. When you are the second least trusted profession in the country, it is no wonder that newspaper sales are dropping month after month. Yes, there is an issue with the internet, undoubtedly, but if you are the second least trusted profession in the country, you should be desperate to improve the way that you are regulated. You should be desperate to try to get public trust back. And that's why I'm really glad that what this motion tries to do is the reach of the PCC from looking simply at dealing with individual cases to trying to raise standards across the industry as a whole. We see with other regulators that many of them do a very good job in taking on that broader remit and seeing their job not just to deal with individual issues, but to try to raise the quality of the profession as a whole. There are many great journalists in the British media. There are sadly also too many who just turn a blind eye when you point out factual errors to them. Too many who like the good headline regardless of what the truth might be. And actually it is not in any way being anti the press or anti the media, it is being on the media side to say we should raise the standards. And that is why I think it is so important that the Press Complaints Commission's remit should be expanded, not just to deal with individual cases, but to try to raise the quality of the profession as a whole. So I hope you will support the motion, and in particular that aspect of it near the beginning. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mark.